Good morning. Today on Customer States What, we are replacing the radiator assembly in a 2016 Toyota Tacoma. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so the first step we got to do is we actually take the trim off of over here. The next step, we do not remove the belt because it is putting tension on the water pump pulley. The reason for that is so we could break free the 4 nuts holding on the fan. Now that we're ready to take the fan out, we have to be ready to take the shroud off with it as well, because if we take the fan off the pulley, we're not going to be able to remove it. So what we do is we loosen and remove the fan shroud and the fan, and we lift them up out of the car at the same time. And that goes for installation. You put the fan in the shroud and you lower them both in at the same time. So let's get that out. Alright guys, quick tip. If you're not replacing the radiator and you're only doing work over here, or you're replacing the fan or something, before you remove the fan, always put a piece of cardboard in front of the radiator, and that's if you're going to reuse the radiator. The reason why is, look what the fan did. It just went right into the radiator. Now, it didn't puncture it or anything, so that's good, but if it did, it would be a bad day. Alright, we got the upper radiator hose disconnected, we got the fan shroud out, we got the fan out, we got the lower radiator hose disconnected, we got the transmission cooler lines disconnected. Now we have the mounting bolts for the radiator. There's one here, there's one all the way down, and on this side as well, there's one right here and one all the way down there. So we got to get those, actually. One should be able to access through the grill somewhere, and then the bottom one, I believe we can access through the grill as well. So yeah, let's get that. I may have to take out the grill, and this car has some damage right here too, but they're well aware of it, so let's figure it out. Alright, we just had to move a baffle out of the way to gain access to that 12mm. We got that guy out there. Now we're going to lift the car up and get the bottom ones. Alright, this 12mm is behind the foam and that little baffle right there. And on this side, it's right in there. Right there. So I'm going to have to use an extension and a swivel socket to gain access to it without taking this whole freaking front bumper off. That's the goal, guys. Not to take the bumper off and not to take the grill out, to save some time. So let's see if it'll work. Alright, well, can we get on it? Let's see. Oh. Nope, I should go through this hole. Wrong hole, fool. Oh, it kept my socket. Alright, let's try this again. Jam it in there. And we're on it. Yeah. Let's see how long that extension is. Ooh. Alright, so everything's disconnected, so theoretically it should just slip on out. Oh yeah. Gone? Gone. Very good, guys. Radiator is out. Now let's unbox the new one. I should have actually unboxed it and made sure it was correct before I took the old one out. So I guess that could be a tip for this video as well, guys. Whenever you're doing major components like this, open the parts and make sure they're correct before you start working on the car. Here's the brand new part. Parts, they ordered me the correct radiator. Very good. Alright, let's get that radiator in. Alright, here we go. Just drop it in slowly. And let's see. There are pegs to line up. And come on, line up. There we go. We are in place. Now we'll install the hardware and install the lines. Very good. Well, you guys saw what we had to do with the bottom bolts. We had to use the 12mm swivel with the long extension. Now those bolts are a lot easier to come out than going in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the drawer of goodness and we're going to get some dum-dum. And what we're going to do with this dum-dum, I'll show you in just a sec. Alright guys, here's the 12mm socket. Here's the bottom radiator bolt. Here's our dum-dum. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of dum-dum on the head. Giggity. We're going to take our socket and we're going to put that in the socket. Now what that does is, look at that. Holds it in place. So that's how we're going to get these in. Alright, let's put this in correctly. Got my radiator protector in there because that's the radiator we're keeping. You don't want to damage it. So slip this in there. Get the shroud into somewhat the position that it needs. Come on. Fight me this whole time. Oh, there we go. Just fell in. Alright, now get your fan on. That's somewhat in position. You could go like that just to get it out of the way. Now, we could remove our radiator protector. And now, we could put the nuts back on the water pump pulley for the fan. We could mount this shroud back up. Let's get that done. Well, alright guys. Trim pieces in with all the clips, shrouds in, fans bolted up, shrouds bolted up, both lower radiator hoses are done, or excuse me, both upper and lower radiator hoses are mounted back onto the radiator and clamped down. We still have the transmission cooler lines disconnected because we're replacing those lines. We still got to replace the transmission and a bunch of other stuff. We also still have to fill the cooling system, but some of the lines that we're replacing that go to the transmission are coolant lines. So we're not going to fill the cooling system just yet. We still have more to drain. But that's the initial way how to replace this here radiator assembly. It's not that bad. You don't have to lift the car. Well, actually you got to go underneath the car to gain access to the petcock to drain the cooling system via the lower portion of the radiator. But other than that, I believe anybody could do this in their driveway. Basic hand tools, no air tools. Like granted, I did have to have my hose clamp tool here and my hose clamp pliers. Those are kind of specialty tools, but realistically all you need is a long extension with a 12mm swivel, all 3/8, a 12mm wrench, a 10mm socket for the 10mm that hold in the shroud, the 12mm wrench to take off the nuts off the water pump pulley for the fan. So not that much is needed, guys. You can do it. So until next time, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for further content.